Hey guys, this is FPL Tips and welcome to a new segment at our channel. In this segment, we look at games in the game week and we break down those games tactically and how it affected FPL and how it will affect FPL. Majority the tactics and how the game went and slightly of FPL to be honest. So the first game obviously had to be reviewed. It was the biggest and the most anticipated game of the game week. It is Manchester United versus Newcastle. Ronaldo is finally back. He was back home and he was back with the bang. He scored a brace in his very first game. Most of us expected, and a lot of people will say it was Newcastle. There was a tap in and everything. But to come back, see the atmosphere and the upliftment he made to the team was tremendous, and you can see that around stats and everything around the game that happened. So we look in deep dive into the game, how it happened, how it went, and genuinely, I think that this team actually stands a chance to win the title. First of all, in the very first 20 minutes, Newcastle were actually playing a very deep block, and United did find it very tough to break it down. So they were trying a lot of balls behind defenders, trying to make vertical through passes and maybe lob passes at times. But Newcastle's defense was really, really deep, and they were defending most of it. They did not allow United a lot of chances. I don't think there was a very clear cut chance in the very first 25 minutes at all. Later on, Newcastle United did start to attack, so it was opening a bit of spaces. Also, what United did was eventually they bombarded the left flank a lot. So around 65% of the chances came through the left flank. You can see Shaw there, Sancho was there, Bruno was there, Ronaldo was there and drifting inside for his forward role. There's a lot of people there. Matic was there as well. So you can see a lot of people, a lot of passes were completed there, and they were trying to bombard the left flank and cut inside at most occasions. First, I want to touch upon Bruno's position. A lot of us, and especially FPL managers, expected him to play very deep when Pogba starts, which was very eminent last season. But yesterday, when Ronaldo played, he was just beside him. He was most like he was playing as a second forward, just behind or beside Ronaldo at most occasions. He was one of the foremost players in terms of counter attack. He was there on the counter attacks. He was releasing those balls and everything. So as an FPL asset, he's not dead for sure. He had a big chance. He scored a goal. He had shots inside the box. He had what 7, 8 penalty touches in the penalty area touches. He had 2 shots inside the box. So yes, he had those numbers. He had those numbers well and good. And on most occasions, you can see him trying, going for the header, going for the through ball behind the defender, and he was doing that a lot often. It was not one or two chances, occasional chances. It was part of the plan and part of the strategy. So I think Ole has adjusted his team and he's pushed Pogba back and told Pogba to stand there. And Pogba also improved a lot. Specifically talking about Pogba, in the first 3 games he had about 13 penalty area touches. In the last game alone he had 1. It shows you that Pogba was clearly asked to stay behind. He was asked to control the midfield more. He was asked to do the crossing more. He was asked to make the through balls more often. He was there to in the midfield to stay there. He had 0 shots. Obviously, he had 3 chances created in that alone game, whereas in the first 3 games he has 7 chances. So almost half the chances are all he created in one game. So in terms of creativity as well, and you can say this is because of the Ronaldo thing. Entire club has been lifted. The uh, dressing room has been uplifted. There is a good atmosphere in the club, which is a fact, and that's clearly visible in the game. He also had one big chance created in the game itself. So Pogba was improving, but the player that improved and impressed me the most is Jadon Sancho. He was no longer played as a wide left winger, which he played in the first 3 games, and a right wide winger. I don't know why Ole was doing that. In this game, he was properly used as an inside forward. He was made to run behind defenders. He was asked to go inside the box. He was taking chances. So if you look at his stats, it's very eminent. In the first 3 games, he had 5 penalty area touches. In the last game alone against Newcastle, he had 7. In the first 3 games, 0 shot. In the last two shots, both inside the box. And you see the difference. I mean, if you allow a player, Jadon Sancho has one big chance in the last game against Newcastle as well. In the first 3, he had none. You can see he was making those beautiful runs behind the defenders. There was one chance where he could have scored, where there was a great through ball as well. Unfortunately, he couldn't. Even on the counter, he missed one chance. I think it was not a big chance, but he did have a chance. He just took a lot more time to shoot and release the ball. So I think it's optimal to use Jadon Sancho there as an inside forward, making him run behind defenders, doing his passes. Although yes, I did feel that Sancho, when he was isolated on the left wing and was inside the box, he was really out of ideas of where he had to cross, if he had to dribble past someone or not. He was usually playing it back to Shaw or Matic, who was there on the wing, or Bruno. So that was something that I found maybe not the best part of Sancho in that game, but apart from that, it was a great improvement in terms of stats, in terms of numbers, and how he was played by Ole in that particular game. Talking about Jadon Sancho, just beside behind him, there was Matic as well, who's controlling the midfield. He was the only DM in the team. And he did a decent job in terms of recovering balls. He was obviously better than Fred, and he did have 6 recoveries. He had 3 tackles, 2 successful. and he was decent. Yes, although he made a lot of vertical balls, which is very important. He made two or three cutting through balls, which could have been converted further into goal as well. But yes, he was finding those spaces. Occasionally on his left foot, he was slightly weaker. He couldn't find perfect passes, but on his right foot, he was making those vertical balls. So it was very important in the crunch game when you're against a team who is in a deep block, who's not allowing you to go behind the defenders. To make those cutting edge through balls and vertical passes is very important, which Matic did in that particular game. And it was great of him. I think he did well in his term. He obviously a proper CDM would have been better, and I think Matic did a great job. If his left foot was slightly better, I think he would have done a better job. But again, nothing to complain or criticize in terms of what he did against in the Newcastle game. But Paul Pogba, I mean, immense improvement. We talked about how he did in the terms of stats, but again, we could see that France Pogba and him in this game, he was putting in those cute crosses. He was just chipping the ball over the top. Bruno had a chance. Ronaldo had a chance. He was creating them for everyone. And yes, we want to see this more often from Pogba. He did a bit of defensive work as well, which he was not oftenly doing in the last particular games. He was, but again in this game, he was particularly sticking to the midfield. He was holding it. He was not drifting left on the left wing. He was there in the midfield, which was great. And yes, his numbers have immensely improved. He's created already half the chances he's created in the first 3 weeks in one game week alone. So you can see that improving. And as an FPL asset, also we can see him improving. Can't deny it. In the first 3 weeks, obviously, there was no point of having him. But in the next few weeks, you can actually take a look at him and how he improves his game in terms of FPL as well. But also Greenwood. There's one thing I did not like about Greenwood's game was that he was drifting too much on the wide wing, which I particularly did not like because I thought that he should have stayed more central. Maybe he could have been playing as a second striker. I think he would have been a better option, and Bruno slightly wide. But again, Bruno playing there also perfectly fitted with Ronaldo. I think the connection there, the Portuguese connection there, was perfect. So nothing to really criticize there. But again, if Greenwood was more inside the box, he had fewer touches inside the box than the first 3 games, obviously, on average. Did not have a lot of shots. He did get the assist from the rebound in FPL. But again, I think if Greenwood was played up top with Ronaldo, maybe as a support striker, if not as a support striker, maybe allowed him to cut inside, that would have given him more freedom and he would have played much, much better. Last player to touch upon before Ronaldo is Shaw, and I can see Shaw getting much more FPL points. And this is standalone by FPL prospects. He was there on the counter attacks. He's there on corners. He's there on set pieces, and United look genuinely a threat on set pieces. Ronaldo, everyone knows how good he is in the air, but he's not only doing that for himself, but he's taking away defenders for a toss. I mean, every defender is attracted to him and focused to him. More on occasions, there was Maguire who was free taking the header. Varane had a couple of chances to head the ball inside the goal. Everyone is getting an opportunity now, and irrespective of that, even in the previous games, Maguire was good on headers. He was getting chances. Varane was getting chances. So I think Shaw will do well in terms of crosses and in terms of numbers. And I say this because in the first 3 games, United created 48 crosses. They put in 48 attempted crosses. And in the fourth game against Newcastle, they itself put 23 crosses in that game. So you can say as a gameplay, they were relying on crosses. They were adjusting their game to Ronaldo's strength, which is the heading strength. They used him as a target man there in the game, which is eminent, and it was bound to happen. There's nothing surprising there, but you know that this was going to happen. And even success in the number of successful crosses in the first 3 games, it was 9 successful crosses, whereas in the fourth game they had 4 successful crosses. So you know that the game plan was slightly in terms of giving the ball to Ronaldo, providing him the service, let him do what he does best, and which did pay off as well. If you see the second goal of Ronaldo, Shaw just passed it and Ronaldo just run past everyone around him. I know that Hayden did allow him, he did not close him down. But again, Ronaldo's pace, the accuracy of his shot, the power of his shot, you can see that happening much more often on counter attacks and United had a lot of chances on the counter, especially. I think in the first half, especially, they had better chances on the counter than in terms of creating chances. But again, Ronaldo, I mean, the more you speak, I feel it's less for him. He has complete changed the dynamics at United. He is the target man. He's going to play full minutes, and you've seen that he's not going to be subbed off early on. He is not the man who wants to get subbed off. Even though he would have gotten an ovation at Old Trafford. Most of us were expecting him to get subbed off, but he didn't. He played the 90 minutes. He tried for the hat trick, and that's the man. He is a goal scorer. He's a proven goal scorer, and he'll score a lot of goals. And the defense is also improving with Varane coming in. This Maguire is doing a great job. And first time in a very long period of games, I felt that Maguire had control and he was established. And yes, Saint Maximin is fast and he's doing his things, but Maguire looked composed. He looked like a player who knows what he's doing finally, and he's not in shaken with the attacker attacking on him. He was decent. He did not do a bad job, and he did what he had to in the game. But yeah, United look threatening. They have changed their tactics. There are a couple of problems in that tactics. Obviously, everything goes to Ronaldo now. There was a chance where Bruno passed the ball to Greenwood. There was a clear counter. He could have straight run towards the goal. But he rather chose to run towards Ronaldo and release the ball to Ronaldo. I think he should have rather run into the goal. And there are a couple of more attempts where they were trying to find Ronaldo, which could have been someone else, and that could have been a goal. But again, if that will change with time, I think. But the value Ronaldo is providing, the upliftment, and the depth. Rashford is still not back. Martial is there. Lingard is there. Cavani did not play. So there is depth. I think there is obviously no CDM there, but even with one good CDM, maybe with the McTominay and Mattis rotation, I think United can put up goals. This team clearly looks like the team which will score a lot of goals. They will concede. Obviously, they look fickle on counters. They look on fickle on attack. They look like a team who will concede goals. But this is a team which will post goals. They post an XG of almost 3, is 2.74 in that game, particular Newcastle game. So yes, they are posting numbers. They're doing good on attack, and I think this team will do well on attack and score goals. And possibly they are a perfect team to challenge the title. Ronaldo looks completely fit. A lot of people were doubting his fitness, doubting whether he can play the Premier League, which is a faster league, which is a better league than Serie A. But I don't think so. That's the case. I think against the bottom side, at least the bottom 10, he'll do a great job. And I'm really waiting to see how he does against Everton, how he does against West Ham, how he does against Leicester. These are the three fixtures in the next four games for United, and I really anticipate Ronaldo to do things better than most players around that price. So FPS standpoint, definitely have Ronaldo, and as a football standpoint, I genuinely think United have a title challenge this season. So yeah, that is it, more or less the analysis for the game. If you like the analysis or the FPL tips that are provided inside this, do hit the like button. Do consider subscribing to the channel and comment below if you want us to do an analysis on a particular game. And if you like this analysis, please let us know in the comment section so that we can continue this analysis for a longer period of time. So till the next video, this is FPL Tips signing off. Cheers.